Let's jump into stuff about the Chauvin trial specifically, because this is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that freaks me out. TheNation.com, one of the premier leftist publications. I mean, they've been around for a long time. They got an article that says the acquittal of Derek Chauvin has already begun.
What?
I agree. I think he will be acquitted. I don't know for sure. Don't take my word for it. If I had to put $10 down, I'd say $10 on acquittal. That's just me. I'm not saying I'd make a real bet. I wouldn't, because I don't know. But the nation agrees. The left agrees. Many on the right think he's not going to be convicted. And they have this really, really great passage. Let me just read this paragraph for you. They say Chauvin's trial started this week, and soon a jury comprised mainly of white people, of this we can be almost certain, will tell us whether they think killing a black man should be a crime. In a reasonable world, this trial would be perfunctory. Hell, in a reasonable world, there wouldn't even be a trial.
Wow.
I'm going to make a small wager that he had to look up, or she had to look up, what perfunctory meant. Just to double check.
This is a good
That's
wager.
very pompous.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
spicy.
that.
However, there's more. Chauvin would have accepted some kind of plea deal. That's what most people do when they are caught on camera killing someone. So they're not saying outright ban trials. However, this sentiment is echoed by Chelsea Handler, who in my opinion probably read that article, because Newsweek.com reports Chelsea Handler sparks backlash for suggesting trials be skipped when there's video evidence. Look, to an ignorant person, they're going to go, there's literally video of it. What's the point of a trial if we all watched it happen?
Well, to those people on the ignorant level, even if Chauvin's body killed the other guy's body, what's his name? I don't know.
George Floyd.
Floyd's
Say his
body.
name.
It doesn't. Their
Say
names
his
don't even
name.
matter. If one body kills another, you still have to determine the intention. That's what the trial would be for, if anything, to figure out the intention
That's
of the
point.
guy. But they're even trying to figure out the whole situation. They want to go deeper. They want to find out, was
Truth
Floyd
and justice?
on fentanyl and out of his mind and on his way.
No, that we know for sure.
You're right.
We know because of the Tox report and things like that. The issue is breaking down all the facts, having a debate, an argument, a trial over what Chauvin did and whether or not it was reasonable, whether or not, as you mentioned, intent. So when you have these low information individuals, leftists who are like, there wouldn't even be a trial, you should take a plea, and then Chelsea Handler saying, we should skip the trial, we saw it on video. That's a scary reality, man. How many followers does Chelsea Handler have?
Yeah, don't ever make those jokes on Twitter.
She's influencing a lot of people. And this is where we're at right now. So when I see this stuff, and I see a story that when you look at all the details from a rational point of view, the Minneapolis Police Department, and this is evidence put out by the defense, and there's a photo of this, trained the police to use the particular restraint that Chauvin did. Why? Because if you put your knee on someone's back, you can cause asphyxiation. So they move the knee to the neck so that their chest can still move up and down and they can still breathe. Apparently, that's why Chauvin did that. He was trained to do it. They also have all these witnesses who said they were yelling at him, you're going to kill him, and these things. You think he could hear every single person screaming at him at the same time? He has no idea what's going on. Now, if you want to have a conversation about manslaughter, we've long suggested there's a real argument there. That's why a trial must be had to get to the bottom of this. You know what the craziest thing about all this is? I'm almost swearing at these people. We put the Nazis on trial. We literally put Nazis on trial.
The Nuremberg trials.
Yes, we were like, we want them to stand trial. Why? Because even if you can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt and everyone's seen the evidence, you want to present it in a legal court so it can be in the record, legitimate, verbatim, legacy, history, boom, there's the records. It happened.
Do you think Chelsea said that when Trump got impeached, they should just skip the trial and throw him right out?
Probably not.
Skip the trial.
No trials. You know, this is just a continuation of the degradation of due process that we've seen across the country. Title IX regulations totally stripped men and people accused of sexual harassment, sexual assault of their due process. Donald Trump fixed it. Joe Biden is trying to turn it back. They don't want due process. They saw a video. A girl said it. Believe all women. If Kavanaugh had the same treatment that Chelsea Handler is suggesting, Kavanaugh would never be a Supreme Court justice because
Heck, he'd be in jail.
Because a woman said that he got, they group raped him or whatever.
Did you see that New York Times article about Smith College, where it was the black student who was in the closed dorm room? So for those who don't know the story, there's a black student. She was in a dorm that was closed. A janitor was told, if you see anybody in the building, call campus security or police because there's not supposed to be anybody here. Apparently, she had an arrangement where she was allowed to be there, but the janitor didn't know. So he called and said, hey, there's somebody here. The cop came up, walked up to her and said, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Oh, you're cheating. Oh, okay. No problem. Sorry for bothering you. How's your day going? All right. Have a nice day. That was it. She then makes this video where she was like, someone called the cops on me for just eating and being black. When in reality, it was that somebody was told to call the cops if that was the case. And an independent review found there was nothing wrong. But hold on. This is the important point.
Yeah.
The New York Times wrote that what was it? What did they say? They said this student's personal truth was at odds with the facts. They were like a shocking moment for a student whose personal truth was at odds with the facts. That's called being wrong. But the way they're framing it now is that we all have our personal truth, our lived experience.
Standpoint theory. Yeah.
Call that perception, and everyone has a different
This
one.
sounds like the same thing that happened to AOC when she was not in the Capitol building, but a cop came in to be like, hey, what are you doing? You got to get out of here.
But like an hour before anyone went into the building anyway. Amazing. That was apparently because there was a bomb scare. And AOC makes this story. Man, it's so obvious she's lying to anybody who followed the news, but I see so many people who just don't know and they believe it. I was even talking to a Huffington Post journalist who was like, your timeline's wrong, AOC, blah, blah, blah. And so I started researching it, and I'm like, yo, a full hour before anyone breached any part of this building, any part of it, and before they were even fighting with the cops, I think they had just started scuffling, the cop was clearing out a different building because of a potential bomb scare. And everybody went back, because nobody ever went in those buildings. The story she told was very much as though she was in the Capitol and people were looking for her. She lied. She was like, they got in. They're going to find me. And I thought I was going to die or whatever. It's like, nobody got in any building. Why would you be thinking that before literally any of this happened? Because she's lying. Because their lived experience. I love this meme. It's, the Winnie the Pooh meme, where it's like Winnie the Pooh sitting down, then he's got a monocle, then he's wearing a full tux. Yeah. It's like getting fancier. It's like the first one says my opinion, and it's regular Winnie the Pooh. The next one is he's got a monocle. It says anecdotal evidence. And then the tuxedo says my lived experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly what it is.
Smart.
They want to.
Lived experience in this notion is part of radical feminism, critical race theory. It's embedded in their entire philosophy, their philosophy of activism and change. And so if CRT continues its march through its institutions, if it continues its march through the legislative process, through its bureaucracies, due process is gone. Fact is gone. The only thing that will matter is people's personal truths if you're the right person. I don't think my personal truth is going to matter much.
Yeah.
Well, before we do this show, sometimes I'll either watch Star Trek The Next Generation if it's on. But today it was Sliders. You guys ever watch Sliders?
I love that show.
Oh my God, dude! From the 80s?
No.
Where they changed? Were they
late 90s?
Whatever. I mean, look, to me, that's all the same.
I watch late
2003.
90s shows. That's why I'm watching Outer Limits and mid 90s Star Trek.
Sliders. This is where they like the time traveling.
No,
right?
no,
Yeah, the actor Jerry something.
Oh,
is
Dimensions.
The lead. What's his
Dimensional
name?
travel. The episode today was they go to a dimension. Listen, they go to a dimension where it's a religious takeover. It was fascinating to watch. This is really relevant to everybody. Okay, listen to this. Sliders is it's 1998, I think, was the year. I'm not entirely sure. And they go to this reality where everyone is a believer in this essentially mockery of like Christianity, right? And there's a point in the show where they say, wow, this is a reality or a government that's all about tradition, family values, and faith and spirituality. And then one of the characters from Earth Prime, which is ours, he goes, we had politicians who wanted to implement those same kind of laws in our Earth, but I guess this is what it would be like if they won. It's funny. But watching it, I was like, it's actually more like critical race theory. I don't think it matters what the religion is. When ideological, moral authoritarians take over, it looks the same. So watching this, it was very much from the perspective of people who practice science were demonized and criminalized, and the religion was paramount. And, they would arrest you if you admitted you did science or if you didn't have your IDs and stuff like that. But I'm like, that analogy makes more sense in terms of cancel culture and critical race theory than it does to Christianity or any religion right now that's in the United States. Like, they don't believe in science. Although in this instance, they claim to believe in science when they literally don't. And if you believe the wrong thing, they'll cancel you. They'll cancel you for any reason. The scary thing about totalitarianism and authoritarianism is that there is nothing you can do. Even if you follow the rules, you are expendable. You are like fingernails to be clipped.
And the thing about science is nice is if a new idea appears, you don't smash it out and destroy it like you would without a trial person or something. You put it on trial. A new idea goes on trial. That's the scientific method. And you test it. And that's why it's better than religion. Or why it's better than religion in the 16th century when they would murder people and burn them at the stake for suggesting that the earth revolved around the sun.
I am not going to sit here. No. Hold on. I'm not going to sit here and listen to your white supremacy.
I truly believe
science is not about white supremacy. Science. They said
you have a point.
How do you come back from that? What the
they
heck?
said
I was going to take it somewhere.
Modern science.
People in the audience were like, are they really fighting?
No. They said the critical race theorists believe modern science and the idea of objectivity is racist, white supremacy. So your ideas about going on trial and challenging ideas, we all agree on that.
The scientific method is not perfect.
Dude,
I do agree.
It's specifically stated in their literature that a reliance on data is white supremacy.
Yeah, you don't want to be obsessive. You don't want to rely on data to your death. There's points where data can be wrong.
And the irony that I experienced as working in the charter school industry and working at a regulator that oversaw like 60 charter schools in DC was that they kept saying over and over again, we're data driven, which they need to be, right? You study, where the kids are failing so that you can drill down and like reinforce stuff. Data driven. But then they start bringing in the CRT stuff, and all the CRT stuff is like reliance on data, white supremacy, reliance on science, white supremacy, reliance on objectivity, white supremacy. And so at the same time as they're preaching data-driven analytics, data-driven education, they're starting to slide that out and be like, oh, the achievement gap.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.